Welcome to the channel, everybody. Now today we have a Scum 0.9 and beyond news and updates video for you all. So without further ado, let's get straight into it, see what it has in store for us, shall we? So first, we have programmers, and they are working on admin loot control settings, code review, working on EMP grenade functionality, working on crafting rework, resolving issues with puppets, bug fixing, adding up on breeder capabilities, working on blindness condition, adjusting the pickup truck to modular vehicle system, working on chest carrying functionality, adjusting planes to modular vehicle system, working on vehicle weapon mounting system. So there are a few big points to point out here, one of them being the last point, which is vehicle weapon mounting systems. Now, I personally can't wait for this. To have an M249 on the top of the truck would be amazing. But we'll have to see where they go from there and a little bit more information before we get a bit too carried away with that. But big news for all of you vehicle lovers, especially the truck lovers. It is finally coming back. Now I'm going to bring up a photo on the screen now for you as well, just showing you a little bit of the work they've been doing. But I hope that this brings out so much more modular stuff for vehicles, because obviously I keep saying that obviously we've seen the ramps, we've seen, you know, extra storage and things like this. There's customization that will eventually come to these vehicles other than what we've already got on the average sort of armor parts and stuff like this. So it would be nice to see what they do with the truck and where they go with that. But again, we're gonna have to wait for some more information. Now, as we're on the topic of vehicles, they've also teased a little bit about the ATVs. So we have seen the ATVs before, which you can see here in this image, but they also teased them again last week as well with a newer image, and I can't wait for the ATV. So moving on now to level design, they are rearranging abandoned bunker layout, bug fixing, textures optimizations, tweaking landscapes, reworking and optimizing continental houses. So looks like they are going onwards with their texture experiment that they were doing. Doesn't seem to be having major issues yet because they are still working on it. So hopefully we should see that soon as well. And again, obviously tweaking landscapes, reworking, optimizing continental houses. This was shown a little bit last week. So again, they are still working on those. But a new one this week is rearranging abandoned bunker layouts. So we should see some different layouts, I'm assuming, with abandoned bunkers over the course of the next couple of months. But again, we'll keep an eye out for that, and I'll bring you some more information as and when I do have it. But moving on now to the art team, they are setting up new main menu screen, reworking head item slots, working on new concept art, polishing and exporting the first part of new UI assets, working on the flamethrower model, working on plane modular assets, working on scar animations, optimizations, and working on EMP grenade. So quite a few good little things here. Now, obviously, new main menu screen would be nice. New concept art is also going to be nice, but it's good to see that those new UI assets that they've been working on for a while now are finally coming together, and they're going to be exporting them into the game. So we should see some changes coming soon. Another thing that I want to point out is the flamethrower model. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be a player usable flamethrower that they're going to be bringing in, or if they're going to be just working on the current flamethrower that's on the mechs already. Other than this, we have obviously the more important things, which are going to be the plane modular assets. They're being worked on. Hopefully we'll see the plane come back in very soon. Other than that, obviously scar animations. Now, I spoke a little bit last week about the scar and said that the scar H was coming into the game. Now, I was pretty certain that it was the scar H because when we looked at this image, what we could see is a very squared magazine. Now, a very squared magazine to me tells me that it's going to be a scar H. But then we were teased this image. Now, on this image, as you can clearly see, it is a scar, but if we zoom in on the side of this, we can see it's a 556. Now, bit of confusion because when I look back at this, it's a completely different weapon, because this is definitely a 7.62 or a .308, however you want to look at it. So I had to go back, have a little look, and I was right. When I zoomed in on this image, you can clearly see at the top here on the file name, this is a Scar H. But we were teased a 5.56 Scar. So brings me to the conclusion that they are going to be bringing in not only a Scar H, but also a Scar L. So we're going to have two different variants of the Scar by the looks of it, which is even better news than what I brought you last week. So great news there for all of you that were waiting for a Scar. We're now going to have two variants of it. So if we now move on to the sound team, they are setting up preparations for audio recordings, and they are working on the Scar audio. So a little bit more than what was going on last week for those guys. But again, as you can see, steady workflow week in, week out, which is always good. And then we're going to move on to QA/CM. Again, doesn't change much from week in, week out, but we'll go through it anyway. Hunting, banning cheaters, ban appeals, Steam general discussions and bug reports, performance benchmarking and optimization testing, testing of upcoming features, and various bug reports. So again, they do work a lot on Steam general discussions, but you can also send your bug reports through their actual dedicated website that they now have, and that helps them out as well, get on top of things and keep everything a bit more in order. So we've got one more thing to go through, which is obviously the design team now, and they are working on new game design documents. Now, other than this, we had a couple more teasers, and what I feel is going to be a massive quality of life addition when it does come in, and that is handmade gloves, craftable gloves. So we're going to be able to craft these out of what looks of it, rag strips or rags, and they are going to be a great help starting off, especially if you don't spawn up in the north. As you know, if you spawn in the north, you get a pair of gloves. If you don't, then you don't. The reason for that is because it's cold up north, so that's why they give you gloves, and you'll get an extra jumper as well. But if you land down in the south, you will have to find yourself some gloves to stop you getting hand abrasions. But again, it's nice. I think this is going to be a great quality of life addition when it does come in. It's just going to stop that need for having to search around for so long to then stop yourself getting hand abrasions, which would be great. But last and for sure not least, we've had some more teasers of these guys. That's right, human NPCs. This is the Tech 1 Correctional Officer, or as Tommy Slav called him, Boss. And I have to give it to him. Whoever designed this has done an amazing job. I love the futuristic look of it. It follows the law of Scum to a T, and I just love it. It's going to be such a great feature when we get human NPCs and Tech 1 NPCs on the island. Now, there are plans for other types of NPCs, but obviously having human NPCs is going to be a massive one for single player servers, okay, because we're going to finally have someone to shoot back at without having to be in a multiplayer server. So if it's not your type of thing, being in a PvP setting, this is going to be a massive change and some great news for you. Tomislav has been asked if we are going to be able to loot these suits when we do kill these guys. Now, he has said it is a possibility, but it all depends on how it goes through testing and stuff, and basically he said we'll see how it goes. Alright, so we're going to wait for more information on that side of things, but I love the look of these guys. And this is just the beginning of human NPCs. Obviously, we've got scientists, we've got like normal workers, maintenance workers, things like this in Tech 1 bunkers alongside these guys, okay? And other than that, they are obviously also planning an NPC type of hunter, which will be on the island, which hopefully will give the island and some forest areas some life to them again. But all great things, and I cannot wait for every single one of these things. I just want to say a quick sorry about last week to everyone. I've unfortunately fractured my finger, if you weren't aware, so I'm unable to record a lot of Scum gameplay stuff, but I will definitely be keeping you up to date with these Scum news videos over the coming weeks while I'm waiting for my poor finger to mend itself. But anyway, thank you again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video today. I just want to give a quick shout out to our channel members, Megahoof, Mary G, Alti, Nectar 940, Phoenix, and Sam. Thank you very much for your extra and ongoing support. It's always appreciated. If you want to join them, you can head over to the channel, hit that join button, and see what perk suits you best. It all goes back into the channel and gives you all a better viewing experience. But if you want to support me in another way, you can do just by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. And that way you'll stay up to date with the latest Scum news, guides, and content over on the channel. Until next time, see ya.